2023 was quite the year. It's the year that I pushed myself and my designs, reaching for the stars and not quite making them. It has, however, sparked a lot of excitement in me, and I am so looking forward to 2024. Back at the start of 2023, the world still didn't quite feel right from you know what, but I was confident that we were going to be able to push through, and I was going to get out and about with my crochet in a way that I'd never done before throughout the year. One thing that definitely kept me going is you. Welcoming so many wonderful people into the Cozy Rosy Crochet community, both here on YouTube, over in the Facebook group, has meant the world to me. Seeing more people interacting with my videos, with my patterns, and seeing their finished projects has been the absolute highlight of 2023. I am a keen planner, and most of 2024 is pretty much planned out. You're not supposed to tell anybody your plans in case they don't come to fruition, but I wanted to share with you what is pushing me forward at the moment, and that is the Maker's Yearbook. This is the first time I've used this planner, but I've heard amazing things about it, and one of the first things that it made you do as part of your annual review was to look back at the highs and lows of 2023. And I thought we could do that together. So first things first, I would like to know what you are proud of in your year. Is there a project that you've made that you couldn't believe you got through it? Is it that you've learned a new technique that you never thought imaginable? Even if it's something that's completely non-crochet related, I would love to know what you are most proud of. Over the course of this video, I'm going to be sharing my proudest moments. I'm going to be sharing you some of the low moments too, but mainly we are going to be shining a positive light on 2023 so we can move into 2024 refreshed and revived, ready to learn even more crochet techniques. Now, looking back isn't my favourite thing to do. I'm not the biggest lover of New Year's Eve. I get a little bit maudlin and reflective, and I don't tend to look back because it can be quite a challenge to find that positiveness, find the positivity in everything that you've experienced throughout the year. As I've mentioned, I'm going to be sharing both those highs and those lows with you so that I can feel like I've put them to bed and really move on once and for all into 2024. All the way back in January 2023, I was already preparing for one of the biggest highlights of 2023. I was getting myself ready for Crochet Fashion Week. Crochet Fashion Week was the first ever exclusively crocheted fashion walk. Does that make sense? I'm really passionate about Crochet Fashion Week because it allows designers like myself and makers to display their projects on a body. It was the first time I'd made a collection, and I'd been working on the collection since I'd applied to take part in Fashion Week, which was way back in October, I think the year before. And putting together a collection was a whole new experience for me. I'd make pattern collections, but it might be homewares, or it could be based around a different stitch. I'd never made a collection of different things within a collection, if that makes sense. And my inspiration was crochet throughout the years. I would happily admit I am not one to go flamboyant when it comes to designs. I make sure that my patterns are well fitting for everybody, from extra small through to 5XL. All my garment designs are made to be easily worn and comfortable to wear regardless of size or shape, and I carried that down the catwalk as well. And I'm really proud that I stuck to my guns and stuck to what I made. I didn't want to go there and not represent myself and my designs, and I'm really proud of everything that went down that catwalk. Before I even got to Atlanta, I had a photo shoot with the amazing Candy. One of my good friends or neighbours, she's a good friend and a neighbour, one of my neighbours allowed me to use her daughter as a model, and I didn't know what she looked like. She was an absolute stunner, and she brought my collection to life for me. It was the first time I'd seen so many of my designs on a body and captured in photographs that really made my heart sing. I won't lie, there were a few happy tears shed when I saw her moving and posing in all these different outfits that I'd designed, created and stitched up. If you've ever experienced seeing someone wearing one of your projects, you'll know exactly what I am talking about. I'd love to know what the first garment you gifted was, or the first time you saw someone wearing something you'd made and how it made you feel. Pop it in the comments for me so we can all celebrate that with you. Seeing my designs come to life, be it a blanket like we did for the Jolly Holiday blanket, seeing your finished projects, there is no other feeling like it, and I'm so grateful when you do take the time to share those with me. When I arrived in Atlanta, I found it a little bit frantic, the kind of going to rehearsal, going to the run through, all this kind of thing was going on around the show before we even got to the live event. And I can remember clearly watching people, because I'm always early. So I was one of the first people to arrive at the venue for the run through, the model try on, and watching all of these people arrive, not knowing who anybody was, apart from one person. I knew Creations by Courtney was going to be there, and that was probably something that got me through the nerves of waiting for everybody to arrive. I will never forget the experience and feel like I made lifelong friends. I was also fortunate enough to meet up with 2 other friends that came to meet me in person and attend the show and support me, and I will be forever grateful for them. It was Erin of Juniper and Oaks and Stephanie of Classy Lady Yarn Works, and it was such a pleasure to meet them. Such a wonderful thing to actually meet people that you chat to online in person, and there was quite a number of times throughout this year where I've been able to do that, and it's been such a pleasure. 2023 also felt like the year of the Crochet Along for me. Believe it or not, there were 3 different Crochet Alongs held across the year, and they all used different techniques and different stitches. And for me, it's such a fun way to get more people involved in crochet, and for me to meet more people and welcome them into the crochet community. So the first of the 3 Crochet Alongs that I hosted this year was the Rose Cardigan. The Rose Cardigan did feature in the cropped version in Crochet Fashion Week, and it was released pretty much since when I got home. I released the pattern as a crochet along, and it was an opportunity for people to make their first crochet garment with a V-neck and learn different techniques. There were different sleeve options. I love how well everyone's cardigans turned out that took part, and that pattern is still available. All the video tutorials are still available to view on the YouTube channel. I will admit, I still need to finish my other sleeve on the original sample. I've got one sleeve that's got a balloon sleeve or a bishop sleeve, and the other sleeve is nice and tapered, but I can't wear it because I haven't swapped the sleeves round, because I still can't decide, do I want the lovely bishop sleeve with that nice puff at the wrist, or do I want to go for a tapered? So I've still got to finish that project. I'll update you when I finally get round to it. Hopefully it won't be too long. So I hosted the Rose Cardigan Crochet Along back in March into April. And then in June, I think it was, or was it July? It must have been June, we did the Cotton Grass Spar Set. If you haven't ever made a spar set or a washcloth or some face scrubbies, where have you been? They are such a staple in trying out new stitches and different techniques. And that's what I wanted for that crochet along. It was so much fun. I used the sedge stitch, which is, I think, an undersung hero. It looks like corner to corner crochet, but it's worked in rows. The washcloth was just nice, simple square. Then we worked in the round to make our scrubbies. Then there was, in my opinion, the pièce de résistance, the back scrubber. I even had a shower and showcased it on my Instagram. I wonder if I can insert that in. Maybe they want to see that. I might get done for something or other. Nothing was, there was nothing on show, but it really kind of took quite a lot for me to do that. But it was great. I enjoyed sharing how I used my own spar set. I used to do it every Sunday. I really should get back into that self-care. Should probably add that into one of my goals for 2024. Of course, we've just finished the Jolly Holiday Blanket Crochet Along, which kind of expanded as things went on. We had an original 9-panel blanket, which ended up having the choice of 18 different panels to create your own Jolly Holiday blanket. I'm so proud of this pattern. First and foremost, it was like all the charts that had to be created, and I filmed as many of the panels as I could. I created a new joining method for squares and crochet projects, and there was a whole new edging as well. And I'm super proud of how beautiful everybody's blankets are. I'll try and insert a couple here for you that I know I've got saved to showcase and got permission to share as well, because it's just absolutely lovely. We all have favourite crochet patterns, and I would love to know, what's your favourite project that you've stitched up in 2023? It could be absolutely anything. I'm not worrying about which pattern of mine you've made. It could be that you finished, I don't know. There are so many patterns out there, millions upon millions, and it would be wonderful to know what you've enjoyed making in 2023. Now, my favourite design that I've made in 2023 is probably quite a challenge to make. I do say that my most favourite project is always the one that I'm working on, and you may feel the same, but there are those kind of standout things that we make that really have such a lovely emotional connection, or it could be that it was such a challenge, you were so proud to get through it, all of those things. But for me, I think my favourite project for 2023 is going to have to be the all buttoned up dress. This dress was designed, again, with all bodies and everybody in mind, and I'm really proud of how the shaping of the design means that you can make it fit your own body. They're worked in 3 different sections, from the chest, the waistband and the hips. They're then joined so that it's customised to your body. Of course, not everything can go well in a whole 12 months. And my husband and I had a very, very sad and unfortunate incident way back on April the 9th, roughly. I'll even tell you the time if you would like to know. But I'm going to skim over this very, very quickly because it may cause me to get upset. But it had a huge impact on me, my year, and my mental health. So back in April, my dog was very sadly attacked, unprovoked, from behind in a, unfortunately, very packed out park. We were just gone for a little coffee, as we do. We still go back there, as me and Emily, my dog. But it was truly horrific. She was in and out of the vets she was in for a solid two weeks, and in and out kind of for a month. It was a month until she was discharged. And all of this time I was hosting the Rose Cardigan Crochet Along. I think I'd managed to get everything out on time, and people were so kind about, like, don't worry, you just, take time and stuff. I'm not usually one to talk about mental health, and at least not my own mental health, in any great detail, but the impact is still ongoing from this event. It was unfortunately very traumatic. It has led me to being diagnosed with PTSD as a result directly of that attack. And I have some really strong coping strategies. I suffer with anxiety, so I have a really good built up resilience. I have coping strategies and all my normal things that I would do to keep going, to push through and work too hard, etc. It wasn't helping. So I have reached out. I'm accessing talking therapies to help minimize the impact of the PTSD. Obviously it's been 8 months, so I'm a long way on from where I was. I've been working on my mental health probably since July, when I reached out for that help. And I'm hoping that I will continue to make good positive strides in managing my trauma response. My rational brain now is louder than the fear, so hopefully I will continue moving forward in there. And if you are going through anything within your mental health, please be patient with yourself. That's my one thing I can say, because you're not alone. You're really not alone with this. Reach out, talk to people, and if people aren't listening, just keep talking. That's the main and important thing to do. I don't know what, this is why I don't talk about it, because I find it very difficult to talk about, because everyone needs different support. But it was unfortunately the attack that prevented me from taking my crochet back to Canada and Edmonton to take part in Gathering Threads. As I said, the attack happened at the start of April, and I was still kind of hopeful when it first happened. The injuries initially didn't seem so bad. Unfortunately, there was, I don't want to give you too much, I don't want to, give you nightmares or anything, but she had something called total skin detachment from where she'd been shaken, and that led to a lot of complications with her skin. So I wasn't able to leave her in anyone's care. I couldn't. But initially I thought, oh, it's okay, like a month, we should be fine. They were telling me she should be all fine after that. Unfortunately, the complications meant I couldn't get to Canada. I was so gutted. I'll try and see if I can find some photos from Edmonton and insert them here as I'm talking, but to have missed out on the Gathering Threads was very hard for me, because it was like, oh my God, I got 2 massive events in 1 year, and they took good care of my projects. They shoved them down the runway for me, and I still managed to take part even though I couldn't physically be there. And I'm very grateful for the organisers for being so understanding about me not being able to attend, and they worked with me so that I could still take part in a way that I could. The reason I'm mentioning Gathering Threads, even though I didn't get to go, was because it sparked something in my brain way back pre you know what. Cozy Rosie originally started with me selling my finished projects. I then went into teaching and hosting crochet workshops and encouraging more people to learn to crochet. So my biggest passion is encouraging others to learn how to crochet and teaching more skills and encouraging people to take on new projects. And the opportunity at Gathering Threads was to also host a workshop there. And when they invited me to do that, I was like, oh my God, I miss my workshops so much. Again, people, I do like people. So I was lucky enough to take part and host some in-person workshops exclusively at some wool shows this year. So not only has my crochet visited Atlanta, Edmonton in Canada, I also got to go to Ampthill, which is kind of up the road from me, and Newcastle. Again, I've never actually been to Newcastle before, and I took a trip after the Northeast Wool Show to go up to Scotland and have a day out with myself, which was absolutely wonderful. And then I was lucky enough to do the Knitting and Stitching show in London, and then Harrogate as well, which is the last workshop that I've hosted. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Once again, people. I do like people, and I love this craft so much that I want to encourage more and more people to do it, which is probably the first kind of sneak peek as to what's going to be happening in 2024. Already on the website, you're going to find my workshops that I'm hosting at both the Summer Wool Festival in Ampthill and at the Northeast Wool Show as well. You'll also find a link to my Eventbrite page where my local workshops are being hosted as well. So I'm going to be offering absolute beginners, so you can learn to crochet the absolute basics. You can learn corner to corner, how to make some of the basic patterns as well. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to continue to offer those throughout 2024, because I really do enjoy hosting workshops in person and encouraging more people into this wonderful craft. So if you've ever attended a crochet workshop, either one of mine or somewhere else's, I would love to know. What was it you went and learned? Pop it in the comments below for me so I can get more ideas and also be able to offer more of what people are looking for, because I want to do more with people and I know that people want to learn. YouTube isn't everyone's favourite learning platform, and sometimes in person is best. And I'm excited to move forward with this again. So what's to come in 2024? There is a plan. But after the roller coaster of 2023, it's a loose plan. One thing most definitely, there is going to be a lot less. So on average, I release between 30 and 50 patterns per year. And that for me is, especially for the last year, has been completely unachievable. I know there are a number of patterns that haven't released this year and they've been pushed into 2024. But I'm excited to do them better and properly and make sure that everything is covered in detail in all of my tutorials. There is going to be such a strong focus on skill sharing and upskilling, making sure that techniques are explained to the nth degree so that you're learning and knowing all that nitty-gritty detail as to why we do things, because that to me is really important. Definitely a focus on different techniques. I know that for a fact on February, because it's already ready, there is a tapestry crochet pattern coming out so that you can learn those skills. January is already in the bag, but I'm going to tell you about that next week. And pretty much March through to December are almost already there. The ideas are here, the content ideas are written down. It's just the patterns on some of them need to be refined, made, designed in some cases, but it's going to be quite an exciting year. I would love to know what you're planning on learning, on making for 2024. Are you going to be focusing on different techniques? Do you want to learn some new skills? What are you going to be crocheting in 2024? So my designs for 2024 definitely have a cozy, calm element to them, a big, strong focus on learning and techniques, so that you can be proud of your finished projects if you follow any of my patterns. I am eternally grateful for you being here and being part of my 2023, and I'm excited to have been a part of yours too. I hope that you're as excited as I am for 2024 to see what we're going to be making, stitching up and enjoying throughout the next 12 months. I have lots of plans for getaways and breaks with the view of hopefully meeting up with other crochet designers throughout 2024. Maybe I'll even get a chance to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to review 2023 with me. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the journey, and I will see you in 2024.